Hey, you. Yeah, you. The one who's been rehearsing the same story in their head over and over so many times that you just constantly get upset every time you wake up. Or maybe you're the person who is going through so much that you're not looking forward to tomorrow because as far as you're concerned, you know exactly what to expect, how many failures, how many things are going to go wrong. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Mr. or Mrs. Victim. And I'm not clowning you. I'm not beating you up. I'm here to tell you that I understand where you are. But it's like, I'm not finna come here with no motivational, positive stuff in the sense of, oh, with a soft voice and you can do it. No, get your ass up. Nobody is coming to save you. Look, I'm telling you from personal experience, nobody's coming to save you, okay? Like real talk, so that you can understand and I understand, right? I am a two-time, not one time, two-time. I have failed marriage twice. I have 5 children. Last year, I had to have brain surgery because of hydrocephalus along with a cyst that's on my neck. So it's got my body spasming up and stuff like this, like just letting you see what I deal with. You know, so many things went wrong in my life within the past 5 years. Who's been here for me? Me. Not to knock anybody else, but the thing is, I live in a state where I don't have any family. I have been here by myself, other than my children, but I have had no one here to help me. And the truth of the matter is, I have gone through it by myself. Have I cried? Yes. Have I been angry? Yes. But the fact of the matter is this, no one's coming to save me. And I'm telling you, the quicker that you realize nobody's coming to save you, you accept it, not for pity's sakes, but for the fact that the person who you can depend on is you. Get up off your knees. Stop fucking praying. The God you're looking for, look in the mirror. I'm not saying that there's not a higher power to help us, but the truth of the matter is you're the God that you're looking for. You're the one who knows everything that's going on. You've got to be honest with yourself. You've got to stand on it. You've got to stand on who you are. Stop looking for somebody to come and save you. I've had these conversations with myself. I had to go in and really look at myself. What was I dealing with? What was holding me back? And I realized it was me. The whole time, it was me. Times where I wasn't applying myself. Times whenever I was hoping somebody else would carry the load. Like, I don't want you to have to go through what I went through with, you know, all these health issues and stuff like that for you to pull yourself up out of something. But if that's what it takes, then let it come. Nevertheless, wherever you are right now, you got issues going on, you can figure this stuff out. I went to therapy. I don't knock therapy, but at the end of the day, therapy didn't make me accountable for me. I had to make that decision for myself. I had to own who I was and who I was not. I had to choose, was I going to be who everybody always said I was, or was I going to be who I knew I was? On top of that, when I went through my divorce, right? I'm not gonna lie, I was a very proud husband, very proud father. That shaped who I was. When that was taken away from me, I had to figure out who I was, what I like, what I dislike. I forgot about a lot of the things that made me me. I had to go and find myself all over again. I had to start over with everything, including finances. It's been hell. Nevertheless, guess what? I'm still here. And I'm telling you, that victim mentality has to go. That is a programming. Don't get me wrong, we all got some stuff that we go through. Real talk, like, just so, again, I want you to understand that I understand, right? Like I said, I had to have brain surgery. I found out that this information was hidden from me. The doctors actually fractured my skull. Now they tell me I can't even bring any kind of case against the hospital because they say the statute of limitations gone. So that's screwed up, right? My body, I'm living with pain, neuropathy. I have complete, like, all of this is completely numb. Neuropathy, all kinds of stuff, so much to deal with. So I get it. And this stuff started from birth. There's so many different things that I went through from birth up till now. Rejection, abuse, all kinds of stuff, mistreatment, bullying, so many things that a lot of us have experienced. And yes, it led me to being a suicidal individual for a long time. I dealt with a lot of confusion. I dealt with a lot of doubt and self-sabotage, all of this stuff. Man, I'm telling you, I mastered it. I mastered being the victim. I mastered being weak. I also mastered masking. You know what I'm saying? I mastered hiding and knowing how to present myself to the world as this, that, and the other, but knowing inside I had insecurities and doubts and things of that nature. Yeah, I mastered all of that. So I get it. Like, I'm telling you, I was the king of you don't understand. I mean, like, for real. But at the end of the day, I came to realize, like, I was making all these goddamn excuses for myself. For what? Because I didn't want to show up? Huh? Like, what was going on with me? I really had to look at myself. I had to look in the mirror. And I said, man, this is crazy. So I decided I was going to transform who I was. And believe it or not, that is a decision. But it's not just an easy decision. See, part of the reason why I call this inner dominion is because I understand the duality aspect of things. Like, see, I grew up church. You know, I was in church. I was heavy in the church. You know, I went and then studied the Hebrew Israelite stuff, studied other religions, different parts of Christianity itself, just various things. And then it led me into my more developed spiritual journey, understanding things of energy and not being afraid and calling everything demonic and learning how to tap into my spiritual gifts. And I'm gonna tell you, it's been great. Meditation, all of that good stuff, been great. But I noticed even with that, everybody always wants to point you towards the light. You know, you want to be the good person, the love and all of that stuff. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. However, at the same time, I started to realize that the more I tried to become this person, just like I was when I was in religion, the more I tried to get into the light, there was a part of me that was being suppressed, which is the shadow. And a lot of times the way people talk about the shadow, they make it sound like it's such a horrible thing. They make it sound so evil because it's like, yeah, it's light and then there's dark. And again, you go and you look at Buddhism and they'll tell you like there is no darkness. And some people can't comprehend that. So if you look at all the stuff I just listed in just the past 5 years, plus other things in my life, then you'd be like, yo, dude, you've been through a lot of dark times. However, when it brought me to the understanding that I have, technically it brought me to the light, right? Because when you get clarity, when you get understanding, that's like walking into the light. So really the darkness is a part of the process. And so that's what inner dominion is all about. So, you know, I got my mask behind me, like I got the white one. That's for my quote, light energy, or what I call the flame energy, the flame keeper part of me that continues to burn and fuel towards ascending and expanding my understanding during this existence. But I also have the other mask, which represents Black Phoenix, and that's the dark part. And that's the part that I actually choose to embrace more. It's not like I think that I'm a killer or anything like that. No, it's because, see, I spent so many years of my life trying to play the hero, trying to always be the good guy and sacrificing myself and always trying to go above and beyond and all of those things. Whereas the villain or the dark part, it's more about strategy and self-preservation. It's not always seeking out peace because it understands that as long as we're here, there's going to be combat. So the villain is always sharpening his skills. See what I'm saying? And there's more that I'm going to go into about that, but I'm saying that all of that to say that I'm encouraging us to become more balanced in our perspectives. Because some of us, I mean, like in the Bible, it says, you know, you can't be so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. Again, that's pretty much the same thing that I'm saying, because I'm gonna let y'all know, like, I will quote the Bible. I respect the Bible. I have no respect for Christianity. I respect Christians, but religion, all those religions, like, I don't respect it. And I know that the Bible has more to it than what people teach. And I also know that it's been messed up. So like I said, you'll hear me quoting things from scripture, but this is not no Bible study. Let me just make sure that part is clear, okay? as I've grown, I see the importance of being completely whole as one. And so I embrace my dark side. And it's important because that's the part of me that allows me to actually, that helped me to stand up for myself. You know, it's so funny how when you are silent, people, in some cases you need to be silent, don't get it twisted. But it's like when you're silent, people seem to like that more. But when you stand up for yourself, when you defend yourself, when you set boundaries for yourself, that's when people want to call you rebellious. They want to call you disrespect. In the journey, like, of accepting my other part that I had been trying to suppress so much, always trying to be the quote good guy, you know, always trying to be nice, always trying to be loving towards everyone. No, sometimes you have to stand up for yourself. That's why the people who like myself that were labeled like, oh, you always such a victim, or you always play the victim, or you always make yourself out to be the victim. No, the problem was, the truth of the matter is this. What was the problem was I had expectations for people. And that's where I went wrong, because people would do me dirty and I would take the high road, and it was like, well, that's just what you do. I'll tell you like this, man, for real. I know the Bible says turn the other cheek, but once I've been slapped on both cheeks, ain't no more slapping, yo. You feel me? So it's like, for those of us who are tired of always being somebody's punching bag, always the one that they make us into the villain. Like, they want to make it seem like we're crazy, or make it seem like we don't understand, or whatever the case may be, when a lot of times we do understand. We take, man, look, we take careful consideration to overstand a lot of times for people, but somehow we're still the bad guys. Yeah, you're the ones I'm talking to, because that's what's got you in the victim mode. That's what's got even some of us saying, I want to kill myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I dealt with the suicidal stuff and all of that. And what blew my mind is that people would say, oh, that is so selfish. You know, you have children. How could you think that way? Okay, so I'm supposed to live in pain so that other people won't be in pain, but I don't know how to deal with my pain? I can't believe it, but people will say that to you. So anybody who has felt suicidal, just know I get it. I understand. But at the same time, I do want to tell you, please don't end your life. Like, I really hope that if nobody, a person who was considering ending their life or has been feeling that way, you're the one who's seeing this video. You're the one who I really want to speak to, because you feel used up, you feel rejected. Like, I get it. I was married for 13 years. I was a sole provider. I wasn't the most perfect husband per se, but I'm gonna tell you, I did my thing. On top of that, I mean, I went above and beyond the call of duty. I even helped my wife get a restaurant. She lost it, but I worked for it. And that hurt. Like, everything I had, I worked for, I lost in the divorce, or just after the divorce. And it did. It drove me nuts. It drove me crazy. So I understand. And it's like, when you look at how, and I'm not talking about my ex-wife in this part, but I'm just saying, you look at how you're there for people, and when you need them, they won't stand up for you. You know what I'm saying? People you stood up for, they won't stand up for you. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that makes you want to end your life. On top of that, when you've grown up and you've been told throughout your life, you ain't shit, you ain't worth shit, stuff like that. And even though you have grown and you made something of yourself, somehow that message is still trapped in your subconscious. So you don't have a value of yourself, because somewhere in your life, in your childhood or somewhere, someone made it seem like your value as a person was tied to money. So you feel as though if you don't have enough money, or you can't do things with money, that you don't have value. I want to let you know you do have value. You're priceless. Yeah, I walked through all of that. I'm telling you, in this podcast, or whatever this space is that I'm creating, I'm going to discuss that stuff. And it's not for you to feel sorry for me. It's for me. I'm only sharing this stuff and being transparent for the simple fact that I want you to understand that someone understands you and where you are, but to also make sure that you know that you matter, you know. And I'm sorry, I just want to apologize because sometimes, like I said, I had to have brain surgery. So sometimes my thoughts, they get a little jumbled, or sometimes in the mid-sentence, like I may forget things. So I am going to divulge that and ask that you guys, have patience with me, because I'm not going to try to edit this thing up all perfect so it seems like every thought goes together. It may happen, but if I switch thoughts, then, I apologize, but hopefully it doesn't happen too much. But that is one of the things that I'm challenged with. However, regardless of all these things that I'm dealing with, I still know that I'm here to help people. I want to see people be the best in life. A lot of things happen to a lot of us that it's not fair. Some of us had parents that mistreated us. Some of us had people that were siblings that mistreated us or did things to us. Like, we've all had things happen to us. Now, there are some people who are fortunate enough to walk this earth and they haven't had those types of sufferings, so they don't care to understand, right? And I guarantee you they're not watching this video anyway, so I'm not worried about them. But I want to let you know that I do understand. I want to encourage you to share your stories with me. Because my goal is to interview people. Not that I'm trying to be somebody's therapist, but I want to help people change their perspective, because a lot of things really do come down to a matter of perspective. A lot of things. What's a good example? Okay, I give you a perfect example of perspective, how I get down with perspective, right? Some people will tell you that the sky is blue. I will tell you quickly, the sky is not blue. The sky is actually clear. Reason why I say that is because even though I look up and I see blue, well, when nighttime comes, how come I can see the moon? How come I can see stars? You see what I'm saying? But it's a matter of perspective. So I share a different perspective, and I champion the underdog. I champion the person who feels like they're a loser. I'm here to champion you. I'm here to, yes, motivate you, but to also talk to you and to encourage you and to remind you of who you are. But we're going to go down, I'm going to take you down my journey of understanding or coming to the perspective that I have. I want to help you learn how to rule from within. That's why it's inner dominion, but with mastering the frequency. Why is it called master the frequency? Because everything is energy and everything is a code. And a lot of us have been programmed. I mean, you can say what you want to. We have been programmed. At the end of the day, I didn't choose to be born and my name be Antoine. My parents assigned that to me. I didn't choose to be a Christian. My parents assigned that religion. I didn't choose the neighborhood that I grew up in. My parents decided that. See, there's a lot of things in our foundation in the beginning that were programmed into us. And I'm not in any form or fashion knocking what my parents did, because they did a great job. However, there's some things that I choose to be different, or choose to explore differently, I should say. So I want to let you know, that's what this space is for. I want to find the people who are genuinely wanting to change their lives, so we can talk it through. You know what I mean? Or you can just shoot a little comment or a question. I'll be more than happy to share, because I'm transparent, because I want to help people. And that's one of my things too. I feel like a lot of the reasons why people do end up finding themselves get stuck is because as parents, we don't share things with our children. I'm 46, so I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm old enough to be mature because I do have a 24-year-old child, but I'm still young enough to understand the parental. I'm at the place where I can help bridge the gap. So you'll hear me talk about stuff with parents, parenting, child rearing, because again, all of these things are important. We talk about things like breaking generational curses, breaking generational cycles, but unless we talk about it, how we gonna break it? Unless we talk about things that affect the bloodline, how we gonna break it? So I'm an open book. I'm an open book with my children. So I'll be sharing some things that I deal with in those areas, because I know that there are parents who struggle, parents who don't feel so good about their parenting style or methods. I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? It's so many things that I look forward to discussing in this journey. So again, this is inner dominion. We are going to break through limitations. I am Black Phoenix. I am going to help you rise from the ashes of everything you've been through, so that you can become all that you know yourself to be. Okay? That's it. I'm gonna stop right there. But again, thank you for your time. Much love. Peace to you, and stay strong.